welcome to Community Corner. I am your co-host, Anthony Tolles, here with Miss Jennifer Tolles, our resident expert. We're here at the Community Corner, where it's a one-stop shop for all things community-related. Here, located in Riverview, Florida. Please like, comment, or subscribe.
Thank you for the introduction. Today in Community Corner, we will be discussing family law, vocational expert work in family law. Most people don't particularly know about vocational expert work, period, but especially when it comes to family law, aka the dreaded word, taboo word, divorce. A good percentage of people end up getting a divorce sometime in their lifetime, nowadays over 50%. So it's a good thing to know about the process or understanding, everyone pretty much knows about what a divorce lawyer is. They help you in dividing assets. They help you in getting the whole process of divorce. That's what a divorce lawyer does. That's family law for you. But at times, especially a more experienced attorney knows much of the ins and outs of family law, and sometimes they bring on experts. I'm one of them. I have done with family law, over 150 cases over the past, say, 3 years as a vocational expert with family law. I have noticed an uptick since 2020, since COVID, in regards to divorce. I'm not sure why. It may just be the nature of people wanting to separate and want to renew their life in some way. With family law, of course, I'm an objective party, meaning I have no skin in the game. I'm just here to provide my expert opinion, research, and analysis. What is a vocational expert in family law? A vocational expert in family law is someone who goes in, evaluates one party or sometimes both to determine what their earnings are, what their earning capacity, what they could make on an annual basis, salary-wise, basically. Who would benefit from a vocational expert? It wouldn't be particularly the simple divorce where both parties agree to separate, there's no alimony needed, or things of that nature. This would be when the parties would come to a disagreement. That's where I'm usually brought in when one party, a number of examples, one party is working and the other party, for example, stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad, have not worked for a while, or they've been working part-time and not full-time, not bringing in much money, and they're expecting alimony in some way. Or another case is to evaluate one of the spouses where usually I see suddenly income dropping when the divorce starts. For example, someone may be making $275,000 annually and with their business or with a company, and then they decide to take a step back. They decide to reduce their hours, and now they're making $60,000 as a doctor or a pharmacist or what have you, an engineer. Usually, especially in the Tampa Bay area, but I do perform family law cases on a national basis. My certification is national, all throughout the United States, especially in this area where our office is, where we reside in. That salary is very low in comparison to the profession. of a doctor, of a pharmacist, of a engineer. Especially a lot of times I have more seasoned people coming in getting a divorce, upper 30s all the way up to, I've evaluated an individual who are, they're in their 60s. So basically, the person who would benefit from a vocational expert is where both parties come to some sort of disagreement on what the other party could earn, what they can make on an annual basis. I would be coming in to evaluate that person, conducting local research on what a person usually would make, and evaluating their skills, education, abilities. Now, with education piece, sometimes with stay-at-home moms or dads or whomever, they may not have a college degree. So I have gotten this inquiry or a statement saying, hey, I'm 52 years old. I don't have a college degree. I don't have any skills. So I can't work. That's where you do more evaluation. You do more testing when that comes into play. More testing in the evaluation report portion. And also, I see, hey, what did you do while you were a stay-at-home mom or dad? Were you part of the PTSO, meaning school? Were you function? Did you keep the books? Were you the head bookkeeper of your family? What other skills do you have? What are your enjoyments? What do you like? Usually 9 times out of 10, the stay-at-home mom or dad have exhibited some sort of skills to be the household manager, because that's usually what they are. It's unpaid. That's just the society we live in. It's unpaid work. It's not really, at times, respected maybe by the other party, what work that person does, but still, they brought some skills in. How can I transfer and understand these skills that this person has and put it into work on what they have the ability, skills and ability to do? And then I look and see, how much can they be earning? What type of jobs are out there that would be reasonable for that person? Of course, usually if they haven't worked in a while, it would be more so entry level. But what type of skills can be transposed into real world earnings? So that's the question I come across, or a statement from the person being evaluated, from an attorney who wants to retain me, or from the other spouse. I also have been asked, why can't a judge determine what my spouse is able to earn? Judges are wonderful in so many aspects in regards to being fair and understanding the process of determining factors. So one thing a judge would not be able to determine on their own in regards to earning capacity is because they're not that expert. They're a legal expert, most certainly, but they're not a vocational expert. Just like in a criminal case, they bring a medical expert to determine if someone passes away or gets killed, then medical examiner, some sort of expert on the case. Because the judge is not a medical expert, they bring a vocational expert. In law, an expert is the only one who can particularly determine that factor. The judge determines how much one could impute, meaning how much, he or she thinks that they could completely earn, or agrees or with the amount of money that someone can earn after they get all the research and factors from the expert. But they're not the expert themselves on vocational, or they do not hold a medical degree to be a medical expert. So that's where the judge refers the case or orders, it's called a vocational order, orders one to go ahead and get evaluated by a vocational expert. So that's where sometimes the confusion comes in. And it's a fairly new aspect to family law vocational evaluations. Vocational evaluations have been around for quite a while, but more and more and more family law attorneys, usually experienced attorneys, find this helpful. I have done cases where divorce case have dragged on 7 years. And once a vocational evaluation that is based on appropriate methodology, meaning appropriate research and analysis, there's some conclusion. At least with that portion of the alimony or what have you, the financial portion from there on what their earnings are. So, yes, my services and vocational expert services, yeah, we cost, but it's worth it. One question I'm asked is, well, is the retainer supposed to be paid up front? That's particularly what a retainer is. It's upfront cost on estimate of how much it would be for me to conduct the vocational evaluation report. If I need to go to trial, which a lot of us do, and I've been trial tested many, many times, that's a different fee. But a vocational evaluation report, if you're requesting my services, I will require a retainer prior to lifting my pen or phone to contact anyone. That's just at the beginning of my practice. When I first started around 2017, I was more flexible, and I think a lot of us are in regards to business-wise. Hey, you could pay partial, but you have to understand what works for you. With me in business and as vocational expert, the partial meant, okay, they pay a part and they never pay pay the rest. So you have to be protected in business. You have to be protected in professionalism. And also sometimes I'm asked in trial, in court, by a judge saying, hey, how much did you get paid for this? Did you get paid in full? And if you don't get paid in full prior to trial, one may think in legal terms that you are going to be paid pending the outcome of the case. And as an objective party, I'm not paid pending whether it's in your favor or the other person's favor. I'm paid based on my expert knowledge, my written report, and what I disseminate to the person who retained me. So I'm not paid whether the judge says yay or nay. I'm paid based on my methodology, my report, my expertise, and also my knowledge that I have exhibited throughout the years. So that could also be an issue. So retainer upfront, I think it helps, of course, business, but also it helps to have everyone understand that I'm an objective party. I'm not paid just based on anything else other than being objective. So those are the basic areas in regards to the overview of family law vocational expert work. Sometimes I am retained by the spouse to evaluate the other spouse, or I have been retained actually by the spouse that needs to be evaluated. In that case, it's 50-50 chance that they have been evaluated before and wanted a reevaluation, or they are picking who they want to evaluate them. I haven't had a case where individual has been evaluated by another expert, and I was asked to reevaluate them because the numbers were kind of high. In this case, the person was a registered nurse and worked very part-time. So, of course, with vocational expert, unless there's a restriction of a disability or something of that nature, we go by the guidelines of full-time employment. Because, as you know, most people, if you got to work, we usually work full-time to make ends meet and do what we need to do. So the registered nurse, it was imputed, suggested to be imputed around hundreds of thousands of dollars, north of $250,000. In the vocational expert realm, that is kind of very odd to say, hey, this person could make hundreds of thousands of dollars, especially someone with an associate's degree who doesn't work a lot. So it's also an important tenet of mine to not only be objective, but understand what numbers I'm putting out there. Understand that it's someone's livelihood that I'm looking over. I'm looking over what accurate numbers. So that's why it's important to understand the market they're in, understanding what type of jobs are out there, understanding their professional background and what type of skills they have. I'm not here, nor should any of us be here to just throw out numbers. It's important to be very precise and take your job seriously, because it is honestly someone's livelihood that you are helping and making a decision for. So, in general, that is why I do what I do in family law as a vocational expert.
Yes, we have a community corner question.
Oh, great. I love those.
Okay, so if one was to get married, if you get married to someone, even after the divorce, the husband or wife should be compensated to the point where they don't have to work, where they no longer have to work. Is that the case?
No. Of course, I'm not the final decision on that, but usually that is not the case. And that's why earning capacity is so important to understand. Of course, the judge makes the final ruling, but with, I'll give you an example. There was this person who came to be evaluated. Their husband, she was very comfortable for an amount of years. It was about, they were together about 3-4 years. I never provide names because that's personally identifiable information. So, of course, they made promises to each other till death do they part, to keep the other person comfortable for the rest of their life. But those, of course, agreements have been broken because they are going through a divorce now. So when a judge usually orders or approves the order of vocational evaluation, that means the judge wants to understand what that person's earning capacity, what they could make. So it was determined that the person was able to work, they had no disability, and also they were able to make a comfortable living wage. It was around upper 70,000 or somewhere around there, what the wage was. So, of course, the judge reviewed my evaluation and imputed what that person could make and that they could go out and get a job. And the jobs were plentiful. We live in a metropolitan statistical area, meaning it's a high amount of people living here, but also our labor market is pretty darn good, at least in the Tampa Bay area. So that doesn't mean that, hey, because I live this lifestyle, I should continue to live it and I don't have to work. I could just live off of, the same amount or allowance that I was getting during marriage. That's not the particular thing. That is one reason why attorneys hire or retain us, is to determine someone's earning capacity and determine what they could do, how they can be independent and make their own money. I say to the individuals I evaluate at times, especially if they have kind of some lack of understanding of what I'm doing, I am a education piece. I can't force someone to go out and go to work, but also I encourage them to use that education piece to help them in seeing what type of jobs are out there, what type of money they're able to make with their skills and abilities. Because whether we like it or not, it's a transition to a new type of life. Being married to being single mom, single dad, or just, divorced. It's a new type of life, new transition. So I try to educate them in regards to, I have no skin in the game, but this is an education piece at least for you. So thank you very much, community member, for bringing that up. Thank you.
Great answer.
Well, I will be signing off now. Thank you very much. Please share, like, subscribe. If anything, please utilize this as part of your knowledge base to better understand what vocational experts are here for. Of course, vocational experts, we're few and far between, but family law and divorce is not. So if you do come across someone who may require this or need this, or if it might even be you, I'm here. I'm nationally board certified, and I'm here to help. Thank you. Blessings.